works. Okay, there you go. Now I muted it so that I don't have to listen to myself talk with a 3-second delay.
Yeah, I know. Little trippy.
Yep.
There, and I thought of a name. Whoa.
Alright. That's a little better than mine, so I'll allow it.
It's what I could think of.
You know what, that works. You have the list of our dockets for the day?
Somewhere. Can't find it.
Damn.
Something. It's been a busy week. Kids are going to camp and whatnot. Besides, we only have 2 viewers. Huh. That's probably me
nice?
and you.
Yep. It's gonna be another one I'm gonna have to start poking people and saying, hey, go look at the thing. That might be a third.
Yes.
That's right, yeah, people can like sit there and listen and not log in. I forgot that.
Yeah. That's why I'm watching the viewer list. Or the viewer count as opposed to the viewer list.
Cool. That's cool though. Yeah. Oh no, and they went away! God, no!
No, we got 4. Or they're logging in.
So bored, I'm going to log in.
Or they don't work back from the other.
Alright,
Okay.
let's give people a couple more minutes to kind of file in.
That's the plan. Okay. Die song.
Oh, what's up?
Yo, we're on. We've got 2 people. Hey, better than nothing. 5.
Oh no, well now people are actually starting to get stuff set up, so that works out pretty well.
Yeah.
I am so dude, Kung Fu kicked my butt today.
Well, that's sort of the point, is it not?
Well, they missed my butt once and hit me right in the face. I think I have a nice little shiner forming. I put it up my picture on Twitter.
Oh dear. Oh well. Can't make it any uglier, so it can only be an improvement.
You better be damn glad you're in Canada so I can kick you in the sack. Alright, I think it's about time for us to go ahead and get this party started.
I say it is. Welcome everybody to the Anjel Syndicate livecast, episode 002. No Pants in the Late Fantastic. It is I, David Angelus X Sloanwaite, director of all the crazy shit that happens at Anjel Syndicate. And with me is, introduce yourself.
I am Matt. People know me as Sans Pants on Twitter, and I happen to cover a lot of the RPG stuff that is on Anjel Syndicate.
Excellent. So,
yes.
What are you playing this week?
Oh, poof. This week has been a little rough with the school and stuff, so I've been trying to get in a little bit of a Secret World, as that is my current MMO obsession. I've also been trying to enjoy some of the games I picked up from Steam. Let me look. Trying to play through the Stalker series.
Okay.
Which Oh wow, the Shadow of Chernobyl has this terrible head bobbing thing that I need to find a mod for and get rid of that because it's making me motion sick, and that's saying something.
That's kind of sad. Right on. For me, it's been, well, let's see, a little bit of my, candy crack obsession with The Sims, because, well, that's just one of those things. I can just set people off to destroy them. Spec Ops The Line, which is beautiful, but I'm not going to say too much because I have to write that up for a review, and I don't want to give too much of a preview of my thoughts on that.
No.
I have to keep that one quiet. Although I will say I am impressed. I am impressed with that particular one. I've got... Oh, let's see. What else has been kicking around my playlist of games lately? Endless Space I haven't touched yet, but I'm going to. And Tony Hawk HD. Tony Hawk Pro Skater HD, I guess I should say the full name. Which reminds me why I shouldn't play skateboarding games, because I am horrible at them. And yet, it's fun, and it gives me a little bit of PS2 nostalgia, which is always nice. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. So, you said you had some topics you want to bring up, so I'll let you shoot yours off first before I shoot mine off, and eventually we'll have a full load. So, what you got?
All right. Well, the first thing I want to bring up is, going from my tabletop roots, we have the ENnies this year, the Gen Con EN World RPG Awards. Let me bring up our list of nominees. There's a number of really good products that came in this year. If you want to take a look at them, you can go to ennie-awards.com, and they have all the links there. You click on 2012 nominees. Some of the things on the list here that I have played and I think are really good is the first one under Best Aid and Accessory is the Shadowrunner's Toolkit. It is a very, very well-made box that's filled with cards that explain everything you would need to know if you were trying to run a game on the fly. For example, they have one for melee combat, one for ranged combat, one stuff for decking, stuff for using various kinds of magic. On top of that, it comes with 3 or 4 pamphlets that include how to basic adventures, basic contacts, and stuff like that. Very simple, good structures for you to build a campaign on.
Nice.
And it also comes with an adventure that I can't hardly recommend because like all pre-made adventures, it requires the players to kind of be dragged around a little bit. And when I tested it out, it didn't work out nearly as well as the people who wrote it had hoped, but it was really good. It was a good starting point, at least, and there's just a lot of information there that worked out. Let me look through here. Best Art Interior, Legend of the Five Rings, 4th edition, The Great Clans. If you've read some of my other stuff, you'll know that I am an absolutely huge fan of the Legend of the Five Rings role-playing game. The art is gorgeous, mostly because they steal directly from the collectible card game art, and oh yeah, it's phenomenal, and their books are always high quality.
Excellent. Well, sounds like you're quite excited about that one.
Oh yeah. Well, of course.
Well, yeah. How could you not be?
Yeah, it's friggin' L5R. The One Ring got a number of nods this year, and I haven't had a chance to pick it up myself, but I do know that the box that it comes with dice and scrolls and all the adventure stuff, and I believe it's either $45 or $50. It's really that one is certainly worth the price of admission. Let's see. Best cartography. I haven't even looked at any of that. Well, there's only so many games I can play. At least that's what everyone tells me. Best game, Savage Worlds, is on the list, and that's kind of surprising. I haven't taken a look at their deluxe edition yet, but I have been using their the one before that, the Explorer's Handbook, and the base rule system for that is really good, and you can use it for just about anything. It is a very lightweight system, that uses all of your die, a D4, a D6, a D8,
Yeah.
a D10. It uses, each of those, and it's a very, very streamlined version of the Deadlands system that they had initially started. Um, I've used it to run a Castlevania game one year for Halloween, and it works with that. I've seen it work with old school fantasy. I've seen it work with this weird mixture of sci-fi, almost Spelljammer-esque setting that is one of their published settings. It's pretty impressive, and I really like it. It's solid.
Nice.
I look through. Oh, look, best podcast. We're not on that list. Fix it.
Not yet. We'll get there. Someday, maybe.
Best
Probably
RPG related product. I have to throw huge props to Tales of the Far West. It's a collection of stories that are set in this mixture of Western and Wuxia stuff, which is I kickstarted it. I have no reason to not pimp them in any way, shape, or form because they're. As soon as I get the book, I'm definitely going to be giving that a review.
Excellent.
And let's see, best supplement, best website, best writing, product of the year. Has a bunch of stuff. Honestly, anything under product of the year, you should go and eyeball. It's totally. They have a really good selection this year, unlike some previous years. So.
Right on. So, was there anything that really stood out that you found unexpected, or is it, more or less what you were expecting this year?
It's very Cthulhu heavy this year. If you take a look, I mean,
Yeah.
I see multiple. There are lots of things popping up for the Cthulhu Apocalypse, the Apocalypse Machine under Best Electronic Book. Scrolling under, let's see. There are multiple nods to. Oh yeah, I missed one unfortunately. Best production values: Vampire the Masquerade 20th Anniversary Edition. It's a must. It's a must-have.
Oh yeah.
You've totally got to grab that. If you liked Vampire at all, they did a fantastic job of taking all of those weird-ass rules all the way up to this point and making everything work without making a new World of Darkness again.
That sounds like quite an achievement then, because there were a lot of rules that I remember from. Well, it's been a while. That just made no sense whatsoever.
So many things that contradicted themselves and contradicted stuff in previous books, and because they had 3 different versions going, it was kind of nuts.
Okay. Well, I'll jump in with one of mine, since that's somewhat related to, tabletop and LARP, and that's to loop back into Shadowrun Online.
Ooh.
Yes, tracking the Kickstarter for them. I'm actually rather surprised, considering the success that they had with the previous Kickstarter for the other Shadowrun project. This one is still shy of their goal by almost, well, actually more than $300,000. Their goal was $500,000. They're sitting at $183,000 and some change with 16 days to go. I'm rather surprised by that, especially with the gameplay look that. From what I've been hearing from other people who have viewed the gameplay trailer, they were rather impressed with where it was going.
I've got a feeling that it's going to come out no matter what. I think that what they're doing here is just trying to secure additional funding. At least I damn well hope it is.
Well, yeah.
Because there's a lot hinging on everything.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's additional funding and just to use the Kickstarter bump that you get with advertising and promotion too, because you see a lot of these projects that pop up there. They may not get funded, but they get noticed, and some of them do end up coming out anyway, which I suspect will be the case with this one. So we'll see. And 16 days is still a lot of time, but right now people are distracted anyway with the Olympics that just kicked off, and the economy in the shit tank that it's in around the world. It doesn't surprise me that the Kickstarter monkeys who are dumping money into every project they see are starting to run out of money to dump.
That's true. If I might sideline this conversation for just a moment, what do you think is the best game that has come out based on the Olympics?
The best game that's come out based on the Olympics? Ooh.
I ask hard questions.
You know, I would like to answer that, but there's one out that I have yet to play that may change that. I can't say for sure because obviously I haven't played it, and that was the new one that Sega just released 2 weeks ago or a week ago. Their London 2012 that had
Mhm.
connect functionality. I plan on picking that up soon, and we'll see if that changes it. But one that's Olympic themed, but not necessarily Olympics, that's a tough call because so many of them have gotten it somewhat right, and so many have gotten it wrong that I can't think of one particular title that stands out as the best that I've played.
I can largely agree. I played a couple of them. I know I played one of them on the Dreamcast way back when, and I was obviously less than thrilled with it. If I were gonna pick one that would be best, it would probably be the one from Epix way back on the Commodore 64.
Okay, yeah.
Because you know what, you keep mashing left and right for victory.
Yeah, I remember that vaguely in the dark dim past.
You know, someone in our chat brings up a very interesting one. Did you ever try the Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games one?
Yes. Yeah, well, it
Was
depends on
that
which
any?
one. The summer or the winter, and the
Oh yeah, that's right. There's multiple Olympics, isn't there?
yes, there is. The winter one was all right. Of the recent ones, the ones that were on Wii, the winter one was all right, but there isn't a whole lot of skill required for certain events in it. And the summer one, it's Mario, it's Sonic, so you're gonna have a not realistic kind of play, but at the same time they're a lot of fun. But they're not true Olympic play in terms of trying to experience a sport through video games. Oh yes, Tiffany, I hear you. But you know, overall, I enjoyed them, but I wouldn't class them as Olympic sports games. I class them as Mario and Sonic playing sports, which is an entirely different genre to me. It'd be like putting, well, you name any video game characters together for a sports game. Unless they're going to do it, just have those characters as an aesthetic and not like special powers or bonuses doing the sports, it'd be different. But when you've got Mario able to do some of his freaky shit, and some of the other characters they put in being able to do their freaky shit, you're not really experiencing an Olympic sports type game.
I'm willing to I'm willing to go with that. Honestly, my lack of experience, mainly because most of the ones that I play based off of, I treat them the same as games based on a movie, and it has the double bad part of it's a sports game, and I suck at sports games. Uh, Now, you can ask. I will eventually pick up a Madden every once in a while just to remind myself that I suck at them. But inevitably, I wait until I can pick up the collector's edition for $5, which is what happened with Madden 2011. And then I play it for a little bit, and then I realize I suck at it, and then I put it down and I go away. And I leave it on the shelf as a reminder, hey, Matt, remember the last time you played me? Yeah, you suck at this.
Yeah.
That's why I have Bionic Commando for the PS3 on my shelf, too. Just to remind me not to go and try and buy it again.
Yeah. The last football video game I played was on Super Nintendo. I can't even remember which one it was. I think it might have been a Madden. And yeah, that game was so horribly broken in gameplay mechanics that I just never went back to playing football and video games ever again. So
Yeah.
I can't say too much there. I mean, some sports games I'm fairly decent at, but other ones I don't have the patience for because there always seems to be something freaky going on with the AI being able to do these miraculous things that I have no way in hell of duplicating. Like the super goalies in most NHL games.
Yeah, the last NHL game I played was NHL 94 on the Sega Genesis. I think that it is still the best.
I played 98, and that was on Wii, I think, and that was just horrible.
Yeah, it looks like what happened was once they got past the The PS2 generation apparently was okay, but I didn't really play it then. But then I had picked up NHL 2000, I don't know, something relatively recent, and the stick controls for the NHL game was used off the right control stick, so you had to pull it back to pull your stick back and forward to strike, and I was absolutely horrid at it. I traded that in the very next day because I had no way of just pressing the button to have the dude whack the thing. If I was good at hockey, I'd be out there playing freaking hockey.
Yeah.
If there was snow in San Francisco and ice and people that do that sort of thing.
Well, there probably is. They just do it indoors. And
they do it 2 hours away. Weird. Well, of course I'm weird. That's why I'm here talking to you.
That's true. I do have a tendency to collect weird people into my sphere of influence. So yes, all right. Well, I don't think we should ramble about sports games for the next hour because, well, there's only so much you can say. Other than Super Dodgeball rocked. There. Now, next topic. What do you got?
All right. In the interest of people who have not a lot of money but want to play a lot of sweet games, IndieRoyale.com has their new bundle up, the July Jubilee bundle. It comes with some games. Some of them will have Steam keys. Some of them will. All of them have Desura keys. It comes with Puzzle Agent, which if you haven't played, you should. It's really quirky and it's a one of those adventure click and click of the hidden object kind of things. Well, not really hidden object, but it's an adventure game, a la most adventure games. But it's fun. And it's the art style is really nice. It's simplistic, it's cartoonish, but it really sets the mood. It has that subtle bit of humor underneath it that works well. The gem of this particular series of this bundle here is the Geneforge Saga. This was put out by a small company called Spiderweb Software. They are pretty much the indie RPG company. They've been putting out games for years and called Avernum, and they've been working on Geneforge, and they've started branching out to other games. You can find some of them over on the Steam store now, and being able to collect Geneforge 1 through 5, I believe it is, as part of this collection, that right there is worth $5. The other games include Onikin, which is a 8-bit 2D beat 'em up. I am not kidding, and it's actually kind of hard, but it was kind of fun. I haven't Mutant Storm Reloaded. I haven't played yet, but it does have some decent reviews, as is Swift Stitch. And I tried a game called Unepic, which is the last one on the list, which seems to be a 2D RPG adventure kind of game. It looks pretty 8-bit. I would probably call it something close to like Fexanadu. Okay. It starts out as a guy at a game, at a tabletop game. He stands up and goes to use the restroom. All the lights go out, and suddenly he's in a dungeon. And things get weirder from there. So if that interests you at all, or if any of these interest you at all, right now, the way Indie Royale works is for every person that purchases the game, or every so many people that purchases the game at the minimum will go up a little bit. For people that pay more than the minimum, that current minimum goes down. So if you drop a little bit extra in there, you help everyone else, and that's a really nice thing for you to do.
Nice.
And honestly, all the stuff that they've got in there is really, really nice. I am very, I'm very happy with the purchases there.
Excellent. Well, it's something I'll have to check out then, because definitely sound interesting, and it's nice to have you need a little dish of indie games in your life every now and then to just experience something, either because of its retro feel or just to get away from the mass amount of AAA and middleware that we get every week. You get gameplay exhaustion when you're playing all these big title games all the time. It's nice to see what's happening out there in the wild and in the trenches.
Oh, I wholeheartedly agree.
Plus, it reminds us of things we should be doing that we're not.
Yes. Hey, that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay. We'll get to it eventually, right? That's
That's
what we
what I
tell
keep telling
ourselves.
All right. Something else that came up interesting that I'm sure other people have been gotten lots of emails about at this point is the Humble Indie Bundle is not games this time. It's music.
Okay.
Yeah, if you go to humblebundle.com, you'll take a look at the music they have available. They have MC Frontalot, They Might Be Giants, Christopher Tin, Jonathan Colton's Greatest Hits, and Best of the Valkyria Chronicles, that had a really gorgeous soundtrack if you've ever played it on the PS3.
Mhm.
And if you drop more than the average of $8.26, you get 12 remixes of 4 songs by OK Go.
Interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was neat that they are trying to shift over to not just be about games, but to be about music that gamers would like, because all of these resonate with particular facets of our particular nerdery.
Yeah.
And while I don't expect this to start, I'm looking through the top contributors, and it's nothing like the last few bundles where people were dropping thousands of dollars to these artists. It's nice to see that they're getting the kind of recognition and respect that they deserve within our community outside of just being anecdotal.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things that get overlooked all the time is music when it comes to games. You know, you might see the occasional comment about, oh, well, the music was pretty, but the graphics were spectacular. Oh my fucking god, it blew my mind. The music was kind of nice. So yeah, it would be good to, because music helps, especially for games that have a strong narrative. Music really sets the scene, and there should be more recognition put into music. So this
Oh,
is definitely nice to see.
oh God, yes. I actually went when I was living in the DC metro area. The Play Symphony came through, and I went to that. I also went to the Final Fantasy one that was going around, and just being able to sit there and listen to live orchestras playing video game music is something everyone should experience. It really is.
Yeah, that was one of the things if I had made it to E3, I was trying to make the limited run Legend of Zelda concert that was being done, and I think they're traveling now. That was just an entire feature on Legend of Zelda music for the anniversary, and I thought that was interesting that they'd run a full orchestra concert setting for however number of stops it was on the tour to celebrate the game for its 25th anniversary, isn't it?
I believe so. Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw adverts for it, but
It'd be nice to
singles.
see more things like that in celebration of some of these long-lasting franchises that we have. Because I mean, you get the usual things like bonus 25th anniversary, 20th anniversary shirts, and mugs and postcards to send to your grandma to give her a heart attack. But to actually celebrate components of these franchises like music, it was a nice touch that doesn't surprise me considering it's Nintendo. They seem to especially of the bigger companies, Nintendo seems to be the ones who are usually the best at celebrating their victories and their anniversaries. I've noticed.
Hmm.
You know, like only vaguely remember what was done for the last big anniversary for Sonic from Sega. I remember reading it and I remember seeing a few things, but nothing stood out compared to the other ones.
Yeah, we're not going to have the why Sonic sucks discussion again because people that are listening now just go back to last week's and you'll hear him and I
Yeah.
pretty much belt out a dissertation on that. There is a really important thing to note here. Out of all of the other game companies that have come and gone, Nintendo is the only one that controls both the console as well as nearly all of their first party titles. Sony doesn't anymore. They have, they do have a stable of some companies that put stuff out, but they're all subsidiaries, and that they work out deals with most of the rest of them. Nintendo is the same way. or not Nintendo, Microsoft is the same way. Nintendo is the only one that doesn't. So for them, it is a really big deal.
Indeed.
Because it's all theirs.
Well, yeah, and that's an achievement all in of itself, too.
And speaking of things and celebrating anniversaries, I have my what the hell moment of the week that has been posted up on Anjel Syndicate. Apparently, for Street Fighter's 25th anniversary, they're putting out a chess set.
Yes,
because the first thing I think
that.
about when I'm playing Street Fighter is, well, golly gee, I wonder who the pawn is.
Well, if you're going to do something like that, might as well do something completely off the wall, right? I mean, that in itself is unique enough that it will stand out, and we'll remember that one for a while. We'll be 20 years down the line, we'll go, hey, remember that chess set from Street Fighter? That was crazy shit.
Oh, and it is crazy shit. Now, you're right. It does look great, but it's Street Fighter.
Yeah, I know. It's
a chess set. It's when I had to go do a double take, and yes, that's where I clicked on it and started trying to read through to see what the hell that was. I collect their art books. I actually read the Street Fighter manga when it was coming out. It wasn't really a manga. It was done in it was done in comic book format, but it was Udon Entertainment, so of course it was going to have that style. But I gotta admit, okay, I'll even admit that I have the Street Fighter storytelling RPG that was done by White Wolf, and yes, you will be seeing a review of that in the coming weeks, because you'll just have to see.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
I'm not even going to try to conjure an image of that in my mind. I will wait to see what it brings, because whatever I think of is probably wrong.
Oh, no. Let me go ahead and put a couple things in your mind. First of all, it was made by White Wolf.
Okay.
All right. Now that your mind is slightly blown, I'll just leave the rest for the review. It'll be fun.
Yeah. That's not a pairing I would have thought. I don't know. But when I think of a game, an RPG based on Street Fighter or any kind of fighting game, White Wolf is not the company that first comes to mind when I think of who could do it.
I agree, but you know what?
We'll see.
Again, I'm saving it for the review.
Yeah, definitely. We'll see what goes on there.
Oh yeah. So, there's a little segment that that we were batting around last week that I think should certainly be a something we keep up with, is our $5 game of the week.
Yes. Have you got something to put on the list?
Oh, absolutely. There's a couple of honorable mentions because they're not actually. Apparently, my friend is having child issues.
Yeah.
So.
Hooray!
Okay. Just tell them you're talking to yourself to all the strangers in your head.
Yes,
that sounds totally sane.
What? What? It's raining? What? No. Go ahead.
Honorable mentions here, because these are games that are normally more than $5 but are on sale right now. Orcs Must Die is on sale for $2.50 on Steam. If you do not have that, you should play it. It is absolutely hilarious.
Yes.
With the banter between the main character and all the other people, that really helps make the game stand out for me, as well as the gameplay. Essentially, you're playing a guy who has access to certain magics, and it's a tower defense game at its heart. But you also have your character down there doing a lot of the grunt work in terms of killing all of the orcs that are trying to come through and jump into your spot. There's like multiple little potential choke points you have. You get a bunch of different kinds of devices that you can use to take them out, as well as different in-sentry weapons that you can equip. Mm-hmm. As well, Borderlands is on sale for $5. Still. I'm pretty sure it was on sale during the big Steam sale, but
yes,
there it is again. I guess they're celebrating because Borderlands 2 is coming out relatively soon, and oh yeah, that's right. And you can Borderlands is free over the weekend, so if you don't have anything better to do and you're tired of your current MMO, pop on Steam and grab it and play for the weekend. It's a fun game.
Indeed. Well, yeah, actually, Orcs Must Die 2 is soon on its way out too. On its way to coming out too.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, we will have a review of that coming up probably. I guesstimate maybe next week. I know we got our access to it now, so I imagine Tiffany's going to do that up probably next week, I suspect.
Yep, that's what she said. It comes out next week.
Oh, there we go. Chat's broken for me, so I can't see crap.
Oh, okay. So it's just me against them. That is a terrible, terrible thing.
Yeah.
All right, and for $5, if you haven't picked these, if you haven't picked this up yet, you really should. Sid Meier's Civilization 3 is $5. I had no idea. I would have figured they would have kept it 10 or something, but it is not. A lot of people would say that it's arguably one of the better versions. My personal favorite is CivNet, but that's because I'm old school and that's how I roll. But Civ 3 was where they really started branching out and including things like fantasy and lots of other scenarios, as opposed to just the straight up play the game, conquer the world, go on from there. For $5, it's an absolute steal if you don't have it yet. And if you haven't played those kinds of games yet, and you don't want to drop a fair bit of cash on it, that's where I would go.
Yeah, I see another one that I contemplate picking up myself, and that would be XCOM UFO Defense. That's on there for a lovely $5.
I would normally say wait until it goes on sale with a bundle of all the other things, but honestly, if you've got $5 and you have nothing better to do, I would heartily recommend it. It's the granddaddy of all. It spawned its own genre of games, and it's something certainly to be experienced. Certainly before the new XCOM game that will be coming out fourth quarter this year, I believe.
Yes, I believe that's in October.
Yes.
When everything else comes out.
Oh,
October
God.
is going to be an insane month for games.
Yeah, it looks like the October is the new Christmas, which is both good and bad.
Well, in a way it makes sense, because it's early enough that people will pick up the games for Christmas, and at the same time they'll have money. They normally will have money to spare before they do their Christmas shopping, so October makes sense as a kind of optimal month. But the games, a lot of the major releases that aren't coming out in October seem to be getting pushed until February 2013. So February is going to be insane as well.
That's fantastic, because you know what? I need like 4 or 5 months where I've got to be completely friggin' broke.
I know, right? Well, February, there's only one thing. There are a couple of games that have been pushed to February. I believe BioShock Infinite was as well, but I'm not entirely sure. But the only thing that matters to me personally about February 2013 will be the new SimCity.
Of course.
I'm just going to leave that there.
Hey, you know what? SimCity is another one of those, old, it was the old workhorse. Everyone played it back in the day, and you made your own cute little city, and it was awesome. I haven't followed it yet, and I had no idea they were making a new one, so I'm just going to have to hold my tongue on that.
When was that announced? Was that E3 or before E3? It was before E3, I believe. It was announced.
Yeah, so
it's all on the site. You must
with
have
all
missed
the
it.
dudes shooting other dudes stuff that we've seen.
We've got gameplay. We've got some trailers up on the site now. You just got to search SimCity, and we even have some developer led previews of various core systems to be found in the game, which was really nice touch.
Ooh.
Like they talked about fire and how it interacts with the city. It was all very interesting. It looks interesting, and it's the only drawback I see with the new SimCity is that it's going to be online play.
Well, they've done online play with SimCity before.
Yes, they have, but this one is always on, if I remember right. It's
Oh,
going
so
to have
another
the
Diablo 3 kind of thing.
Diablo 3 or Darkspore kind of thing. There,
Well,
but like they're going to have the region play that we saw in SimCity 4, where you have various regions. But in with the new one, which is just SimCity, you can have your friends being the neighboring towns, and there'll be interaction there and of cause and effect. But I remember seeing information that if you don't want to have your friends building in the other regions, you will be able to build in the other regions.
okay. It'll be interesting to see how that pans out.
So, but
I
that's
know the game. Know the game. I'm waiting for
February.
this. Yeah, the my list of games is pretty short this year. Thus far, I know I've got. Let me look up my list because I pre-ordered it recently. Sleeping Dogs is on my
Yes.
list
That's going to be
because
interesting.
everyone needs Chinese cop drama. I mean, how could I say no?
Oh, I know, and the more we see of it, the more beautiful it looks. So it's definitely going to be interesting. And coming from Square Enix, I always
Yeah.
trip over that.
Yeah,
It'll
it's
be interesting to
apparently
see what
it
they
is
do with
based
it.
on the true crime series, but I never played any of those. This is the first one that actually screams out at me, and I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I mean it is Square Enix. I think I don't remember exactly who is making it. Oh, Eidos is doing it.
Yes, which makes it even more interesting.
Yeah.
So,
I look forward to seeing how the storyline's going to go with that. The thing is, Square Enix publishes games that wouldn't see the light of day otherwise at times, and for that I do thank them. All of the animosity they give for all the Final Fantasy games aside, how many times am I going to actually be able to see Front Mission come over here?
that's true. Between
Yeah,
Square Enix, Atlas, and NIS.
Exceed.
And yes, Xseed now has been rising as the go-to publisher for imported games.
Hmm.
Between those four, especially as things have been starting to build, we're getting more and more games coming from like Atlas and whatnot. You know, we're starting to get more exposure to Eastern games that we otherwise wouldn't have, or European games for that matter. So I have to give credit to Square Enix for that too. And I'm not going to get started on the Final Fantasy topic. I think we can make an entire show out of that one. So,
That means I would have to play ones that came out after 8, doesn't it?
it would be helpful. I
Again,
well,
long discussion that.
yeah, that's a long discussion. You know, you might want to at least taste them before we do that talk. We'll schedule that for a couple of weeks' time. Give you some time to muddle your way through 9, 10, 12, and 13. I don't consider 11 or 14 Final Fantasies. They're MMOs built on a Final Fantasy architecture, but they're not Final Fantasy. Moving on.
Yeah, well, we started talking, and then no,
Yeah, no.
we're being pulled down into a terrible, terrible place. Okay, let's change the subject.
Yes. On live, day one on the Oya system.
See, I told you that it's going to start getting value.
I don't consider on live value.
See, that's the thing. OnLive has a lot of people that are interested in it. I personally haven't had a chance to sample a lot of the stuff, mainly because, well, it costs. Most of the stuff that I would want to do on it costs money, and up until very recently, I haven't really trusted my internet to bring to have the capacity to be able to play these kind of games.
Mm-hmm.
But for the people that do, it's a wonderful extra benefit that they can throw on there. People will buy the Ouya for a lot of different reasons. And this is an extra thing that they can slide in. The fact that they nailed this and not Gaikai or Kaigai and they didn't means that they're attempting to position themselves to retain the position of the dominant force in the whole streaming game thing.
Yeah, well, the difference between OnLive and Gaikai is that Gaikai got bought by Sony for, $380 million.
Mm-hmm.
But you know,
And OnLive actually has products that are out there outside
that's
of, I
true.
believe they have some deals with a couple of MMOs, one of them being Ion, where you can play through the Gaikai service to sample the MMO before you play it. I have not heard good things about that, though.
Well, that's the thing I have with both of these streaming services, and partly which leads me to say why I don't think OnLive is exactly of value to the overall Ouya package. And that's the simple fact that in the U.S. alone, as far as broadband coverage goes, you're looking. What are the numbers sitting at now? Maybe 35% of the country has broadband, or is it higher now?
It keeps growing every year. We're starting to slack off compared to some of our wonderful foreign neighbors. I think you guys are catching up and starting to bypass us.
Yeah,
But color me surprised on that. That's a whole other discussion.
that's true. But in the context of this one, you know, without having a large, extremely large player base with access to these streaming services, you're going to have a service that's going to be in this relatively cheaper console that would be ineffective for a large cross-section of U.S. and Canada. So unless they plan on making that section more marketable towards Europe and places that have higher broadband, like East Asia, Middle East, whatnot, I don't really see that being as a huge benefit to the overall package.
That goes back to our discussions on if they market it right, it will sell.
Yeah, well,
And again, all they're doing right now is they're value adding, and there is
true.
nothing wrong with that.
They should get the ShamWow guy to sell it. You'd really like my Ouya.
See, and that's just wrong. That's
But
probably illegal in a number of countries.
But it'd be funny.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm willing to go down with that.
So, have you got another topic to your list, or do you want to take up our usual questions from chat since we're approaching the 50-minute mark, or we're at the 50-minute mark?
Well, if we're at the 50-minute mark, we should probably start asking some people. Well, since he can't see what's being written here,
I cannot.
do you guys have any questions? Anything you'd like for us to babble about for a little bit? And it's all quiet. Everything is silent.
They ran away. I don't blame them. I would too.
Yeah, Aeon had a lot of install issues. Yeah, the NCSoft launcher itself is not the most pleasant system to use. I found that they actually had trouble with me installing it, because I bought Ion on Steam when it was on sale. I tried to install it through that, and then it wants to install the NCSoft launcher, and then the NCSoft launcher says, no, I want to be the king of the world, and it sucks.
Yeah, well, can you name one MMO that had a smooth, clean launch?
Yes.
Okay, which one?
Okay, two of them. One of them should be incredibly obvious, and I don't think I need to say anything more on that.
True.
I would have to say that the
that
Old
one.
Republics was not bad.
Okay. That's one I didn't actually try, so I can't... Well, no, yeah, I did, but I played that in beta. I didn't actually go into launch with it.
Oh yeah, when it came into launch, it was incredibly smooth. I didn't have any problems. I didn't see too many other people with problems either. It's just that everyone came in, they played for their month or two, and then
Left.
vamoosed. Yeah, and now they have that.
Well, that's sort of the reason why I didn't play past beta.
Yeah, that's something I really can't comment on, unfortunately.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, to bring up something incredibly strange and off the wall, I participated in vampire live-action role-playing recently.
Oh my. How'd that go?
It went surprisingly well. Now, of course, I say that, and I'm going to scroll this over here, and I'm going to see that everyone left. No, they're still here. Oh my god. One of the interesting things about live-action role-playing is that it's not just, I've got a character sheet. It is one part improv, one part knowing the rules. Everything's in real time, more so than if you're sitting there with a DM. And there's a lot of not just game but meta game that you have to deal with. Oh look, you're a vampire. Well, that's nice, but you've got this huge construct that is, either the Camarilla or the Sabbat or whatever that you actively have to deal with. There are people out there that have much more power than that they have great amounts of power, and part of the game is to find the people that you can deal with, have everyone kind of work with their power as such, not step on too many toes, and help try and keep whatever the hell, all the bad things under control. Because it's in a live action setting, the people who like to cosplay and people who like to dress up, it's an absolute friggin' boon for them because they can look really damn awesome, and the World of Darkness system gives a lot of you have a lot of features that you can pull in. Just because it's set in the modern day doesn't mean that you can't start digging back into. I saw lots of Victorian era and steampunkish kind of stuff, and from a playing perspective, it's interesting to see how they try to condense the huge, gargantuan system that is Vampire the Masquerade into something that can be played with rock, paper, scissors, and sometimes bomb.
Okay. That is something weird and quirky, but, to each their own. So, did we get any more questions from our small but always wonderful audience?
Let's see. Nope. Someone was talking about Rift's launch being decent and that there were some waits. There are waits in every MMO, though. Yeah. That's the thing. It's when it launches, they either screw the pooch one way or the other. Either they have so many servers open that people, unless they were actively in the community before the game launches and they know where everyone is going to go to, either everyone congregates to a few servers or there's not nearly enough servers that everyone, you've got wait times.
Yeah, usually there's not enough servers to go around, has been my experience. And even when there are, it's laggy and buggy and whatnot. I'm hoping MechWarrior Online has a smooth launch.
I'm hoping they are too. I know that they're having an event right now in Santa Clara that I would go to if I didn't have to go and get my butt kicked for 3 hours.
All right. Well, the only thing I have to part with is, if you have not seen it, is normally I don't, endorse or make much noise about pre-order bonuses. But 2 came up today, one of which I have yet to post on the site, or one came up this week, I should say. And one is the Harvest Moon New Beginnings pre-order bonus. Well, I assume it's pre-order bonus. I haven't seen the details yet. And that's going to be a plush yak, which, if you're a Harvest Moon fan, is a must-have, especially if you already have the plush alpaca. The other thing...
You sound like someone that has the plush alpaca.
I do, but I also have children, so I get away with it. Because they play with it and they snuggle it, so it's worth it.
Yes, that's totally it. I don't have a stuffed Moogle over here at all.
No, not at all. The other thing was the pre-order bonus through GameStop for Transformers Fall of Cybertron, which I put the link in chat. I don't know if it'll show up or not, but I'm going to try it. If you haven't seen that trailer for Generation 1 Optimus Prime and some other benefits that will be available through GameStop as a pre-order bonus, check out that short little 39-second trailer, because, that just made my day and made me laugh. And almost made me want to go pre-order the game through EB Games.
That's... Apparently GameStop also has a pre-order from Borderlands 2, as someone said in the chat. I haven't had a chance to look at that yet, mainly because I've been avoiding GameStop lately. Yeah. The only console games that I'm looking at picking up recently, I get from Amazon. But yeah, GameStop has really been kicking it up a notch or two. Any idea on what that special pre-order is?
I remember seeing it and reading about it, but it totally escapes my brain right now because processing news all week. I just it becomes a blur unless it really stands out as something that really, really, really catches my eye. It just goes into the background noise. But
While other people are looking that stuff up,
mhm.
I well, since we're talking about pre-orders, Dishonored has released all of their varieties of special editions over in the United Kingdom. Now, get this. From what I'm able to see here, there are 4 different pre-order packages that you can choose from.
Mhm.
One of them comes with a bunch of, all of them seem to come with a bunch of abilities. One of them seems to come with an actual tarot deck, which is kind of neat.
Really?
Um, the problem, this is just absolutely freaking nuts. I don't. There is no real reason to have all of these different kinds of pre-order bonuses distributed through all these different channels. All it really does is confuse people unless they know what they're doing. And since no one's played the game yet, who the hell knows if any of these things are actually useful?
Yeah. Well, look at Star Trek Online originally when it launched. I think there was a pre-order bonus for every retailer on the planet, and all of them, and every single one of them was different.
Yeah, that's not cool.
No.
All that's going to happen is people are going to be like, okay, well, I'm going to pick this one because I think this stuff looks cool. They're going to find out that they would have much preferred to get another one, and then in 3 to 5 months down the road, they're going to release everything as various DLC, like they did with Fallout New Vegas, which is the only bad thing I can really say about that particular game. We'll talk about that later, and it's just it feels cheap and gimmicky, and that doesn't help anyone. That I don't even think that really helps the retailers. I think that divvies up. People are going to go shop where they're going to shop anyway. Just because you can get a white rat friend ability that will let white rats not be hostile isn't. If you don't go and shop at a game or game station, that doesn't help you at all. Or even worse, let's say the closest game station store is 120 miles away. That completely bones you for that. You have absolutely no reason, unless you catch a ride with a friend, or if you get a friend to go pre-order it for you. That's 2 freaking hours if you're driving not like a freaking maniac. That's nuts.
Well, yeah, I've never really understood the logic. Well, not entirely. I do, to a degree, understand where they're going with it, but overall, I've never really quite understood why they would offer separate bonuses through different retailers, just because they can. I don't know if it's because of maybe there's some deal they have with one specific retailer that they can't offer that bonus to others, which you'd think if they all offered the same bonus, no matter what retailer you go to, it would prompt sales better than having people try to stand there and pick and choose one or the other over one retailer or the other. So, I don't know. It's always been something that I scratched my head over.
And the worst part is, the Game Station one seems to be the only one that actually comes with something freaking cool, which is an actual tarot deck. If I were living in the UK, that would be the one I would go for, no matter what the hell all the other abilities are, because that's something I can hold in my hand.
Yeah.
As opposed to, oh, look, this comes with a bunch of in-game bonuses or blah, blah, blah. If I'm going to buy a special edition, I want extra fun, touchy stuff.
Well,
I've got. I mean, my BioShock 2, it came with a freaking vinyl that has 4 or 5 songs from BioShock 1 on it.
Yeah.
Freaking vinyl. I can't play that, but you know what? It looks damn nice on my shelf next to Usagi Yojimbo, my Maniac Mansion box.
Yeah, that's like the Skyward Sword pack. But, at the same time, if I'm going to get a limited edition or a special edition, I want it to actually be special. There's too many limited and special editions that aren't actually that special or that limited.
Yeah, when you start seeing them, pop up at Fry's for $10, that kind of kills the whole special thing.
It. When you find them in cheap discount bins a couple of months later and it's the special oh my god edition, it's just, what's the point?
Oh yeah, when I was talking about Madden, I got the collector's, the special pack of that came with NFL head coach and a bunch of other stuff. I got it for $5 at Best Buy. That wasn't special. That was a joke. It was because I had $5 and it was a total impulse buy. I didn't feel better when I picked that up. I felt bad for them because I was like, wow, These people put a whole bunch of extra effort in here, and no one cares. Well, some people cared. Someone probably paid $80 for it when it came out. Of course, it's a sports game, so every new year, they have to get the new one. But I thought we promised to not talk about sports games.
The Borderlands 2. I think Tiffany's got the.
Yeah, she's got the 411 on that.
Yeah.
The Premier Club comes with a Moxie map, weapons pack, and an extra 5th class. I believe Steam has that as well. I'm going to click on over here real quick and double check that, but I'm pretty damn sure that that's what you get when you pre-order it. Yeah, the Gearbox Gold Gun Pack, the Golden Key that gives you a free rare item, Vault Hunter's Relic, which is some item that boosts your gear hunting fortune, and the Tech Romancer class, which is apparently female, and the little picture of her looks absolutely adorable.
Well, there you go. Yep, the one time I get a chat message, it's with relevant information. That works for me.
Fantastic.
Otherwise,
all I get on my chat stuff is people harassing me for using the little emo smiley instead of babbling.
Oh well. Well, unless you've got something else, or we have another question, I think we can wrap this one up for the week.
Yeah. You know what? I'm willing to call it. Unless there's, is there anything fun going to come down at the Anjel Syndicate line over the week?
Well, we're going to have a bunch of reviews coming out. I know that. Some things that have been meaning to come out sooner, but ended up being later for want of reason of I couldn't be bothered to. Well, no, I shouldn't say I couldn't be bothered. I was just having too much fun playing the games. I didn't want to write them up. And that's like our Civilization 5 Gods and Kings review. Tiffany's got Gungar coming out, and a couple of others. I think Pokemon X Conquest. She'll correct me if I'm wrong, which she usually does. And I've got the Tony Hawk Pro Skater HD review coming out probably this week. Hopefully I'll get through Spec Ops The Line. And I may have another hardware review coming out. I will know Monday or Tuesday whether or not I will have that or not this week, which will be exciting. Well, actually, it won't be coming out this week. It won't be coming out for 2 weeks because of the embargo, but I will not say more on that until I know for sure that I have secured that particular item.
All right. Yeah, it looks like Pokemon Conquest, Gungnir, and Rainbow Moon are on our list.
There we go.
And I will be reviewing stuff as it comes in. I'll be certainly giving more coverage on the ENnies as I hear stuff, and I will hopefully be doing a review on an interesting RPG setting called Octun Cthulhu.
Yes, you should have
as
that
soon as
probably
I get that
tomorrow.
Oh, that's going to be so awesome. Yeah, because Cthulhu and Nazis always tickle my pickle. It's going to be great.
Well, we have to tickle your pickle, otherwise your pickle might shrivel up and die. So yes, we'll put our cork in this one and call it for a day. I think we're looped and ready to get out of here.
Okay,
so thank you for listening. I am, of course, your gamer lover, David Angelos X Longwait, and with me is my comical, pickle-tickling sidekick, Mr. @SansPants on Twitter, Matt.
Yeah, thank you all for listening, and we will see you guys next week, same time?
Same channel.
Fantastic, yeah. See you guys next week, Saturday. This was, 8 p.m. PST, so it'll be 11 o'clock for you Eastern Standard folks, and I can't convert the rest because that's math, and I have an English degree, so there you go.
All right.